And it really does take a lot of mental toughness to get to a point where you can allow yourself to have glamour. Because, of course, people are going to say it's trivial. It doesn't really matter. You know, people are starving. There are wars. There are genocides. And, of course, like, oh, yeah, I didn't even say this. This piece is not about world peace, okay? This is about you. Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl Neyssa with Expansive Taste. Here we expand our realities to ultimate greatness and learn to receive the best out of life. I know it's been a while since Professor Neyssa has come to share with you a presentation. Lots of changes in my life. But anyways, I'm ready. I'm back better than ever. And before we get started, do you like my hair or do you love it? I did it myself. It's an at-home silk press with pin curls, staple. Since I figured out how to do a silk press, this is now a staple hairstyle, and I'm very excited about that. But anyways, class is in session. Today I am sharing with you the peace pie graph. So the peace pie graph is a pie graph displaying the four segments of life that come together to create a wholesome internal sense of peace and contentment. And the four parts that make up this graph is safety, delusion, creativity, and glamour. And of course, the peace pie graph is in the shape of a peace sign. And yeah, we're going to start with safety and go counterclockwise. So, safety is about having your basic needs met. Do you have food, shelter, community? And Maslow's hierarchy of needs demonstrates this beautifully. Let's zoom in and see what this means. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is a pyramid that starts from bottom up, all the things that need to be met in order to like pretty much make it to the top where you just feel overall fulfilled and just everything is in alignment. But the first things you need, of course, are food, water, warmth, rest. You know, are you getting good sleep? And then safety needs, security, safety. Like, are you living in a safe neighborhood? Is there political unrest going on that can disturb your sense of safety? And I actually think that belonging and love needs is like also a good part of the safety elements in the peace pie graph. And so that's, you know, community. Do you have friends? Do you have people you can depend on? Do you have people who support you? I think that is overall, especially as a woman, like having people who are there for you. It's very important in order to have an overall feeling like a sense of peace. Of course, the bottom two is very much what you need to survive, but you know, having community is also super important because we are social beings as humans, and yeah, it like life is just a whole lot better when you don't isolate yourself and you don't force yourself to do everything by yourself. And so that has to make up a huge chunk of your sense of peace. And that's also why it's so hard to have confidence or like, you know, find yourself when you don't have your basic needs met. So if you're someone who thinks that in order to find yourself or have self-confidence, you got to ditch all your friends and cut people off and like just move to somewhere where you know nobody and where you have to start all over again. And yeah, honestly, you're making life harder for yourself if that's where you're going because your bottom half of the pyramid is just crumbling. The safety part is also where money would be, like where your finances are. Like, is your finances in order? Are you able to provide and pay your own bills or whatever? Of course, if you're like mega wealthy, you can go into a deserted island and just like, I don't know, meditate, but eventually you're going to want to come back and be with community and have that internal yearning to be around with people and have your basic needs met. Moving on to the next part of the graph, this is delusion. This is where you have your spirituality, your desire, your faith. And really, I would categorize this is where God is, like, but not necessarily where God is, because really the whole graph is God and beyond. But this is just your awareness of God, your awareness of something outside of yourself that is making things align, that, you know, whether you're here or not, God is there, the world is moving on, and you have a limited time on this earth, and that time has meaning. Again, God is part of the whole graph and beyond. This part is just about your awareness, your consciousness. And so yeah, this is where your faith is, where you understand that um, life is really what you make it. You have a certain amount of control, and you have some things that you can't control, some things that you don't know. If I'm honest, this part of the graph can really just be like 1%, but for the sake of it being a pie graph, it's 12.5. But yeah, it only takes a little bit of awareness for you to just have an understanding that this is your life, and life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. So it is what you make it. There are things you can control, there are things that you can change, and there are desires in your heart that you can fulfill, that you have the opportunity to fulfill. In the midst of depression or struggle, this is that 1% or 12.5%. This is that part of yourself that lets you know that there is hope, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that life is just progressing, and you can make the most of it at any moment. You can make it what you choose to be. And that is what helps you feel like freedom and understanding, and also just like it really helps you be a better person because you understand that this is everyone else's experience. And in this part, you know that you're not alone with whatever you're experiencing. You're not alone. You know, you have other people who are also just light beings experiencing this earth, this life, and you have God who is in control, who is putting things in alignment. It's a reminder of your free will and also God's love, and to also know that your desires were put in your heart so that you can fulfill them, so that you could come to see who you were meant to be. It's a reminder that what you want to be is already who you are, and what you seek is what you will find. And the next part is creativity. And no, I don't mean about, being a painter or making music or whatever. That is not what creativity has to mean. Creativity is about your contribution, your purpose, your expression. When I think about creativity, I think of it as the opposite of consuming. So with consuming, you're just taking and taking. But with creativity, it's about what you are giving. Whatever it is that you have, whether it's a God given talent or something that you worked hard on, how are you sharing that with others, like on a daily basis? This can also have a lot to do with personality. Like, are you funny? Are you just someone who has the gift of putting smile on people's faces with your humor or your banter or whatever? Are you someone who is very logical, and you have the ability to, like, I don't know, do scientific research and find cures for things and make medicine, or yeah, just be very inquisitive and discover things and share that with others? Are you someone who is naturally kind, and you choose to be a good person and be helpful and, make people like uplift their self-esteem, boost someone's ego and like encourage them? Are you someone who encourages people? Is that like your special thing that you share, that, you're able to grow and give? And of course, the way we give to others, we don't have to do it like at a detriment to ourselves. Like that, that really doesn't go as far as you want it to be. That's not going to give you peace. It's just going to deplete you pretty much. And so if you're constantly giving, but it's because it's your last dollar, or you're going into debt, whether that's financial debt or emotional debt, then yeah, you're not going to gain from that. You're not actually experiencing peace. But if you have the whole piece of the pie, and part of the pie is so full, so overflowing or whatever, that you have enough to give and share and contribute to others, then that's something that continuously like fills your own cup. Of course, if you are an artist, and whatever it is that you create, whether it's a sculpture or a song or a painting, it provokes like some sort of feeling where, yeah, that can be powerful too, where people just like get reignited and like feel more life in that moment. That's very important too. There are seriously so many ways to express your creativity. Like, for example, my mom, she doesn't draw or anything, but she loves to cook, and she explores her creativity in the kitchen making some delicious meals that gives you the feeling of warmth and yumminess and all the amazing things in life and whatnot. And then yeah, loves home decor, like upgrading this and that in the living room and making flower arrangements. Yeah, so how are you sharing your creativity? Yeah, so what is it that you're contributing, whether it's emotional or physical or through the work that you do? You know, your 9 to 5, that can be a good way to express your creativity. And the last part of this graph, a whole 37.5% is glamour. This is something that I struggle to understand is an amazing thing, an amazing opportunity. Because a lot of the times you value something or you think something's cool, and then people are saying it's trivial. It's yeah, they pretty much label this as trivial. It's not important. It's materialistic, whatever. So some categories that fit inside glamour is health and fitness, in your environment, your experiences, and beauty, of course. So your health and fitness contributes to your glamour because this contributes how you feel internally. Like, do you have gut issues? Are you constipated? Are you not getting enough sleep or whatever? Like, there are things that internally, if you work on fixing them, you'll just feel better. You'll have more energy and you get to expand on that. And then you decide, you know what? Like, I also want to be strong. I also want to be fast. Like, I want to just be like a powerhouse bunny or whatever, and do use up my time in the most efficient ways possible without having brain fog, without, you know, being sleep deprived and dehydrated. And this is like where you start to feel that internal glow. And your environment contributes to your sense of peace and contentment. Like, my bedroom is my palace. Like, this is where I get to see all the cute things that just make me feel that spark joy, pretty much. My colorful shoes, my perfume. This is what, like, even just looking at it lights me up, but also wearing it, buying it, passing by and smelling my perfume, trying on different outfits, just little things here and there that make life exciting because, I can go to work, I can cook, I can clean, I can, I don't know, work out or whatever. But what is it that actually sparks joy? And one of those things is my environment. And also, like, having a clean, tidy space really contributes to my mental health. Like, if I go too long with a messy room, I just become very anxious. And with the bathroom, if it's not clean, I'm dreading something. Like, I'm like, oh man, I have to clean the bathroom. And that's always in the back of my mind or something like that. And I personally don't experience peace if my environment is not peaceful. And everyone's like ideal environment is different. Some people, they like a minimal space and, having zero clutter, a minimal amount of things, like everything's like hidden away, very well organized. If that is what brings them peace, then that's awesome. And then some other people, like, ooh, like, they love to surround themselves with plants. Like, they have a bunch of indoor plants and then some patio plants, and they like to water it and they just love to see their plants grow. You might want to achieve glamour by living in a busy city if that's what you love, or living in the mountains, or living by the beach, like whatever it is. Like, everyone is different. And me, I just happen to really like nice, pretty, colorful things. And then there's experiences that bring you peace. Like, some people, they like to save up to go traveling. And that's something that, brings them peace, that makes them feel happy and fulfilled and make it all worth it. But you could also, take it down a little smaller. Let's say local, a concert, going out to eat, having some things here and there where you you just feel like you get to treat yourself. And of course, this doesn't have to happen every day. It's also like the memory of this happening. Like, oh yeah, I remember the time I went to this place. I really had fun that time that me and my friends did this, went to this concert, or the time we went to the park. And having that element of like good times is like, it's good and it's great to build on those good times. It's truly a blessing. Yeah, there are many little things that you can do throughout the day that make you feel at peace. Maybe you like reading books, maybe you like journaling, those things. And then there's beauty. There are so many different things that can give us self confidence and to help us feel like we're expressing ourselves or we're showing up in the way that we want to show up. And, beauty is definitely one of those things. Like, one thing I've been really trying to focus on is figuring out what to do with my hair because I felt like the wash and goes were just getting harder and harder to manage, and like my hair was getting tangled and it just wasn't fun and it never looked the way I wanted it to look. But now it's like, yeah, I feel so good knowing that there's a hairstyle that I can do at home that feels glamorous. And as a woman, it can be really hard to prioritize your beauty and your glamour, especially when you get to a point where you're just like very stressed or overwhelmed, or you just have a lot on your plate. The first thing to go is usually your appearance, and then you start just showing up sloppy. You stop doing your hair, or you forget to like wash your face or something, and it's just not working out. In those moments, it's very easy for you to just sink. Like, if you don't look good, you don't feel good. And I had to just come to understand, like, hey, one of the first things that I need to do is do my best to look good. And if I look good, I have an easier time getting to a point where I feel good and where my cup is full and I can give and I can continue to be creative. And here's another little truth bomb: when you look good, people just treat you better. They really do. It's just human nature. If you're showing up sloppy with your clothes wrinkled and eye crust and whatever, like, people don't even want to make eye contact with you. But when you show up as your best self or just a better version of yourself, when people can tell that you take care of yourself, they automatically see value and they will respect you a little bit more, like, or a lot more. Like, you get respect when you take care of yourself. 95% of communication is your body language. It's, are you smiling? Are you making eye contact? Is your posture, like, correct or whatever? Do you have a posture that's making you look insecure or like you don't want to talk to anybody? But body language is also, do you look clean? Do you smell clean? Like, do you look approachable? Do you look like you're happy to be alive on this earth? And it really does take a lot of mental toughness to get to a point where you can allow yourself to have glamour. Because, of course, people are going to say it's trivial. It doesn't really matter. People are starving. There are wars. There are genocides. And, of course, like, oh, yeah, I didn't even say this. This piece is not about world peace. Okay. This is about you. Okay. Your sense of peace. I think we've already gone through that. But it really does take a lot of inner work to get to a point where you can value yourself and present that you value yourself. Because when you worry too much about what other people think, then you're not allowing yourself to have the experiences you want to have. You're not allowing yourself to be as beautiful and expressive as you want to be. You're not allowing yourself to have the home you want to have, or to spend the money the way you want to spend it, and spend the time you want to spend it. So really, your glamour is about you. And if you are someone who is naturally a people pleaser, you forget about you a lot and you prioritize other people's desires over yours. But it's your life. This is how you create peace in your life. And you got to prioritize it the way you dream to, like the way you're meant to. Don't be scared of evil eye. Don't be scared of people being jealous. Don't be scared of success. Don't be scared of being your best self just because you're worried how other people are going to perceive you once you become your best self. But yeah, beautiful people, that is my peace pie chart. It's made up of safety, so your food, shelter, money, your community, and then there's delusion. This is your connection to God and humanity. And then there's creativity, your contribution. What are you giving to others? What is your God given talent or the thing that you choose to grow that you can share with others? And your glamour. Your glamour is about your environment, your experiences, the fun things in life, and your beauty. And so, goodbye, beautiful people. Thank you so much for watching. I sent you my love. Mwah. Bisous.